Auburn fell to Oklahoma last night in the Sugar Bowl 35-19. AL.com beat reporter Gus Sinor joins me now from New Orleans to talk about that game and just some reaction after the football game. An opening drive, a solid opening drive, and of course that was where Auburn drove down the field, scored 7-0. But during that drive, the big topic there was that Sean White broke his arm. What was said about that injury after the football game, Wes?
Well, I talked to Sean, and he said that basically the play that happened right before they scored the touchdown, he got hit pretty hard, and he thought he kind of bruised his arm, and it was kind of bothering him a little bit because he started off pretty well. He was about 4 for 5, and then basically as the game went on, he missed his next 5 throws, and they were starting to come out wobbly and short, and so they took him out and got him an X-ray, and they found out that he broke his arm, so they had to go with John Franklin III, and then he got hurt, and then you got to go back to Jeremy Johnson. So this team that started the season against Clemson playing 3 quarterbacks ended the season playing 3 quarterbacks, and both were losses. So.
Yeah, very good point there. Now, obviously, the team not in a good mood in the locker room afterwards after a loss like that. But what do you take from this team? What was sort of the overall thoughts going into next season and looking ahead? Because at this point, really, the season's over, and that's all that there is left to do is to look ahead.
Right. I mean, they are obviously disappointed. I mean, this was a big game and basically an opportunity to get their best win of the season against a number 7 Oklahoma team that was really on a roll coming into this game. They're disappointed because they felt like they were healthy enough, and they were back to 100%. Sean White, Cameron Petway, all those guys coming back. But I think the injury bug just hit Auburn a little too hard this year with Sean White and Cameron Petway, missing those games down the stretch. And it's just kind of I think they're just kind of thinking like, what if, kind of a situation. But they're obviously disappointed. But I think there's some hope for next season, some promise. And especially on the defensive side of the ball, there's some guys coming back, and then of course there's going to be Jarrett Stidham, the new quarterback. I imagine he's going to be the favorite to win the job, and I believe he's more talented than the quarterbacks that Auburn's got right now. So it might be a little bit of a different offensive look next year. But the defense outside of Montravius Adams and Carl Lawson, I think, and Carl Lawson hasn't declared yet for the NFL draft, but most people expect him to. But I think that even with those 2 guys, that Auburn still should be pretty solid on the defense.
And taking a final look at 2016 and looking at 2017, finishing 8-5 on the season, just your thoughts on the outlook for Gus Malzahn, his job, and if this is a team that can once again contend for a title under this head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they can. I mean, they did improve from 2015 to 2016, even though they did kind of back, everybody's saying they're backing into the Sugar Bowl because they lost to Georgia and then they lost to Alabama, and then just because of the way that the SEC played out with Tennessee losing and Florida and LSU and all that, they ended up being 2nd place in the SEC West, which is good. But on the other hand, they did finish 8-5. But this team was better than the 2015 for sure. Kevin Steele's defense, it really made a big turnaround this season and really kept Auburn in a lot of games. So. I think the outlook is good for next season, especially with, like I said, Jarrett Stidham coming in. I think that there's a chance that this team could improve under Gus Malzahn next season, but we'll have to see.
All right, Wes, thank you so much. I know we're already counting down the days till next football season. Appreciate your time, and of course, have a safe trip back to Auburn.